Hey, what's going on everybody out there? I'm Jakejames Lugo and welcome to the channel. So here we go. This is going to be my first ever Q&A video that I do here on the channel. Haven't really done this before, so this is the first real one that we're actually going to dive into. So what I did was I pulled a whole bunch of questions from both my Twitter and my Discord server, which you guys could check out and join via the links down below in the description. And we're just going to address all of them. You know, some of these questions come from you guys, some from my Patreon supporters. Really appreciate all the support, but let's dive into these questions and see what everybody had to ask me. So the first one comes from my Twitter. It comes from the Media Nut, who is my friend Pedro, by the way. Big shout outs to him. What game announcement would make you the most hyped for this year? So for me personally, a lot of the games that I've already been hyped up for have already come out. The biggest one being Final Fantasy VII Remake. But the only other game that I'm really super hyped up about that got delayed recently was Cyberpunk 2077. It's from CD Projekt Red. It's going to be on PS4, Xbox One, probably PS5 as well, more than likely. I saw this game back at E3 this past June, and it looks phenomenal. I'm like really excited for it. Again, I love The Witcher 3 and a lot of the other stuff CD Projekt Red has been involved with. And from what I've seen from Cyberpunk so far, this game is going to look special. And I mean, come on, it's got Keanu Reeves with it. It's like it's going to be an instant win already. So at least that's one game I'm super hyped up for this year already. The next question comes from Random Ramblings Productions, which is my friend Pedro's group, by the way. Big shout outs to them. He goes, what kind of game or movie would you love to play or review with friends? I'm so used to like reviewing games and movies and stuff on my own, so it's kind of already second nature. And it would be kind of like in the same vein as if I was reviewing it with friends and, you know, and at least a similar nature. But if I had to choose maybe one game or one series or one type of stuff to review with other people, I would say maybe a Kingdom Hearts game, maybe a game that's more recently that just came out, like Final Fantasy VII Remake, or even just another big game that it's like really popular and like iconic in some of those older retro gaming systems, you know, anything from like Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, anything like that. A Legend of Zelda game would be fun to like really critically analyze with a couple people, you know, something like that. This next question comes from Twitter as well. It's from Connor. I live in Washington and we're deep under quarantine when I stumbled upon your channel. What videos do you recommend for newcomers? Okay, this is fairly easy. Again, I would highly recommend you check out any of my newer videos that have been more recent, any of my reviews, any of my podcast shows, any of the other like Let's Plays like the JJ's First 20 series. All that new stuff is totally fine. But if I had to choose like one type of playlist or one type of style of video I would suggest to anybody who's brand new that's never seen my channel before, definitely check out my reviews. There's a whole playlist I have on the channel with all my new reviews like Final Fantasy VII Remake, Persona 5 Royale, The Force Unleashed, I always say Forced, but The Force Unleashed, the Star Wars game, a lot of the other JRPGs and action games I reviewed over time, a lot of my Castlevania reviews, they're all in that playlist. It's stuff that I know a lot of people love that type of content on YouTube, and for me, a lot of people haven't really discovered me yet, but I'm pretty sure when they see that type of content, they see the level of quality that I bring to the table with it, they're really going to get a kick out of it and they'll really enjoy it, and hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll subscribe. So definitely check that stuff out if you haven't already. This question also comes from Twitter. It's from George Mendoza. I noticed on your channel you're a pretty big Kingdom Hearts fan, so I have to ask, what are your favorite Kingdom Hearts content creators? Mine are BioRoxas, Super Butterbuns, HMK, and Willie JV2. So for me, I have a bunch of different favorites that I go to, a lot of which have been on my shows before, on my different podcasts, so full disclosure with that. Obviously, he mentions HMK, that's my friend, that's my boy, big shout outs to him. I would also have to say Skyward Wing and also the Gamers Joint and Dean, Soralum 1, all those Keykeepers guys, I've met them, I've hung out with them, they've been on my shows, they're always great guys, and they do a lot of great content related to Kingdom Hearts. But really, some of the ones that he mentioned here, like Super Butterbuns, I would love to have a conversation with. I've seen some of her content, it's pretty funny, it's pretty interesting and stuff, and I would love to just sit down and just talk about Kingdom Hearts with her, maybe on a podcast sometime. You know, I've probably reached out to her or reached out to a couple other people on this list already, just haven't heard anything back. But if you guys want to see me have a convo with them about Kingdom Hearts, hit them up on social media, let them know, hey, come talk to JJ, come talk about Kingdom Hearts with them. It's going to be a lot of fun. So this next question comes from my Instagram comments. It's from Unspoken74. Favorite console, game from said console, and favorite memory about said console. This is tough because I have a lot of favorite consoles, and I don't think like anybody has just one favorite like overall. I mean, again, there's so many consoles that I've played over the years that, again, with so many games, it's very hard to choose. But if I had to choose one, and I'm just not going to choose one, by the way, I'm going to choose two. But if I had to just choose one like offhand, I would say the Sega Genesis. I would say like games like Ghouls and Ghosts, games like Mortal Kombat 2, games like Sonic 3 or Sonic and Knuckles. Those are the ones I have the best memories with, and there's other other games too, don't get me wrong. Like, again, the wrestling games, all the other fighting games, all the other action games that are on the console. But like the Sega Genesis is special to me because it's my first ever video game console. And a lot of those games I've really played and got into the gaming medium for the very first time. And those just hold so many special memories for me. Again, I can't just choose one. It's just so much fun, like maybe being on like a Saturday morning, like early morning into late, or late afternoon or early afternoon, playing games, eating cereal, or just random snacks, and just chilling out and enjoying them. Now, since I said I was going to choose another console, the other one I would bring up is my PlayStation 2, because that's another console I have so many memories playing, like a lot of great games on there. Even looking at my collection now off camera, like there's games like, Castlevania Lament of Innocence, there's Devil May Cry 3, there's Final Fantasy X, there's Crash Bandicoot The Wrath of Cortex, Soul Calibur 2, that's another one I was just peeking at now. Like there's so many games on there that I just love. One of my best memories of the PlayStation 2 was during a summer when I was in high school and I was playing Final Fantasy X for the first time. I had like the AC blowing in my face, like right next to my window, had the TV right next to me, just playing that, listening to that Nobuo Uematsu music, and oh my god, it's just so good. So many fun memories like that from the PlayStation 2, but hopefully that answers your question. Now, the last two questions come from my Discord server, which you guys can join via the links down below in the description box. It's a great community of people that just love video games. We have great conversations there. Check it out when you can. But let's take a look at some of the questions I pulled from there. This question here comes from Absis the King. What got you into gaming, or if you had any influencers, who influenced you to get into it? So for me, I watched a lot of G4 back in the day. That was just something that myself and many other people really got into because it was video games on TV. So some of my biggest influences were people like Adam Sessler, people like Morgan Webb, people like Victor Lucas and Tommy Tallarico. Those were the guys that I saw talking about games in that type of fashion on TV that I wanted to emulate or at least be similar to. And this is kind of like what we got now with YouTube, only now it's not on a big television station, it's more on the internet and stuff like that. But if I had to really choose, Adam Sessler was probably my biggest influence, at least, someone that I saw that was talking about games like that. So that's probably like my biggest, real big influence in the way that I talk about games, that I look at games, that I want to be part of the conversation about video games as a whole. Now, the final question on my Discord is a two-parter. It comes from Psychzuki, who is a supporter on my Patreon page, by the way. Big shout-outs to you. What series would you say has the most positive influence on you? And he also adds, do you enjoy looking at story-based games from an analytical or philosophical perspective? So to answer your first question there, I would have to say that like the series that's probably had the most positive impact on me, again, it's very hard to choose because there's so many games that I've played. I would say Kingdom Hearts, because I've been with that series since the very beginning, since seeing the first television commercials about it on the PlayStation 2, all the way through up until now, where I've reviewed the games, I've talked to some of the voice actors on my series, I've talked about the games, and from a critical standpoint, I've talked about with other creators. Like, it's absolutely insane. Like, I've done a lot with that series, and it's grown with me over the years, much like a lot of other people have as well. So if I had to choose just one like that, and again, it's very hard to choose just one, that'll probably be the one that I would go to at first. And then to answer your second part to that, Zuki, do you enjoy story-based games from an analytical or philosophical perspective? I would have to say more philosophical than analytical, because at least with analytical, it's going to kind of get more into like reviewing the game, or at least, looking at the game in that way that I would do the same way as if I was reviewing it. So that's kind of like one and the same in some way. But philosophical, those are like the questions that really question stuff or really make you think about stuff, related to your own life, stuff outside of the game, about all these different things. There's a lot of great story-based games, from like Naughty Dog with The Last of Us and even the Uncharted series, the Telltale games like The Walking Dead, that really get into that type of territory. And there's other games too, I'm pretty sure most of you guys could think of, but at least those are the ones that come to mind with me. So thinking about like, okay, is it right to do certain things? Is it like righteous? Is it like okay? Is it wrong to go about certain stuff? Those are the types of questions that I feel like are very philosophically driven, and those are the types of questions that you would get from those games. So for me, those are the ones that are the most interesting. And there you go, guys. That's my first ever Q&A video that's, again, directly like talking with you guys and your questions and stuff featured here in this vlog. Let me know what you guys think about this stuff down below in the comments section. Tell me, do you enjoy these questions? Do you find them interesting? Do you want to see more stuff like this? If you want to be part of these types of vlogs, let me know about it down below. But also, make sure you're following me on both Twitter and also joining my Discord server, where I'll pull different questions and comments like that for videos like this. So hopefully this catches on. Again, I'm curious to see what your guys' feedback is. But that being said, I will talk to you guys again very soon. Thanks for watching this video, everyone. Go ahead and click the boxes on the side to see more videos and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to go visit my Patreon page for exclusive gaming content that I know you'll really love. Hope you have a chill day. Peace out and stay epic, everybody.